Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur. We are in Kiddushin. It is Kiddushin. The Dedek every day. Kiddushin Daf Nun. Which Nun? Gimel? Nun Gimel. Yes. Okay. So the discussion we have today is Kodshim, a Kohen who serves in Beis HaMikdash, him and all the other Kohanim, those who actually serve in Beis HaMikdash, the men who work there, they get a share in the korban. You bring your korban chatas, the korban osham, the flesh, the meat goes to the kohanim. They cook it, they eat it whichever way they want. Of course, as long as they're Torah, inside the Azorah. Same applies to Kodshim Kalim, by Chazer V'Shoik. And the question that we have at hand here is, do we say that the kohanim own what they get from the Mizbeach, and therefore they can be Mekadesh a woman, or do we say that they do not own it, they just have the right to eat it, Mishulchan Gavoya, right? And we saw it's a machloikis. Originally, it was a machloikis between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi against Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi said that the person does not own it. He doesn't own it, the Kohen, and therefore cannot be Mekadesh a woman. And that's who? That's them. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. The Kohen may be Mekadesh. Why? The Kohen can be Mekadesh a woman with his part in the Kodshim because he's the owner. But then came another Machlokes Amoraim because we had Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan said that eventually there was a vote, there was a quorum with a vote, and Rabbi Yehuda gave in. He was outnumbered by Omer and Rabbi Yossi and their friends. Rabbi Yehuda also agreed at the end of the day that really the Kohanim don't own anything. They don't own the basar, they don't own the meal offerings that they receive. They can eat it, and they should eat it, and it's a mitzvah. And once a Kohen starts eating, he has to finish, making sure there's no noiser. Not allowed to leave Kodshim, till the morning after, until Chatzos. And that's now Rabbi Yehuda admitted to that, and now we brought a brisa that proved us that this is so. The brisa was a statement from the Sifro, from the Midrash of Vayikra. The author of that sefer is who? Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda is the one who said that Kohanim are not allowed to swap, which means if I get a certain type of mincha, and all my brethren, the Kohanim, we work in that mishmar, we let's say got minchas marcheshes. Yeah, we all got what? We have the marcheshes, we have the donut-looking mincha, deep fried in deep frying in deep oil. So I don't like it, and I want to exchange it with another kohen because there's another mincha served that day, minchas marcheshes, minchas machvas, shallow, and it was crusty and more like crunchy. Let's say I like the crunchy and I don't like the deep fried, the spongy one. So maybe I will swap. Keneged the money. Rashi points time and again. Maybe I can say mine is worth 10 shekels and yours is worth 10 shekels. I will switch my minchas marcheshes for your minchas machvas. I'll eat 2 of the crunchy ones and you will eat 2 of the spongy ones, and we'll calculate it by money, which means that I own it and I'm actually doing business here. Said the brisa time and again with all the many different flowery examples. We said no. A Kohen does not own it in order to have it or deal with it. It can only come and eat it. Now, Baruch said yesterday something very valid, and that is true, actually. It's true what Baruch said. A Kohen may give, I checked it in the Rambam today, a Kohen may give other Kohanim to eat from his part. In other words, once it's yours to eat, you can't make a business with it and exchange. But even Kohanim who do not serve because they're not allowed to serve, for example, women, and that, by the way, solves the other problem. Women and children, although they, as we saw before, they're not meant to take a share, they're not shareholders, they don't have the right to take a part, but if a male Kohen gave them, then it's okay. They're allowed to eat it. And that, my friends, answers my question from yesterday. Yeah, I was with egg on my face, egg from the machvas. Yeah, don't you see? I never knew in my life, and I've been doing Kodshim for many years, I guess not well enough, I always learned that women cannot eat kodshim. Well, no, that's not true. Says the Radbaz, so today, women do not get a share in kodshim because they don't work in Beis Hamikdash. But if the Kohen gives them, they're allowed to eat it. Which also means that a woman can come into the Azara, because you can only eat kodshim in Ezra's Koyanim. So if a woman snuck into the Ezra's Koyanim and a Kohen gave her from his share, that's not called business. Stam, it's mine, and I'm giving it to you. You eat it together with me. Mashenkin, if you exchange it for the monetary value, you say, oh, my mercheshes is worth 5.5 shekels, and your machvas is 5. Then it's business, and then we say that that's not allowed because it's not theirs. So right now we think that, and that's we're going to stay with that Rabbi Yehuda agreed to the others that Koyanim do not own their share, and therefore they cannot switch it. There's a thesis here with Maharsha, which I would, I don't know if I'll say it or not. Let's continue for now. Comes now comes a question. We are in the fourth wide line. Line starts with the word ba, and we are in the words Omar Rove. Okay, Rav Milo Tanya. Don't we also have a brisa that supports Rav's opinion? Rav, who's Rav? Remember what we said yesterday? Rav argued on Rabbi Yochanan, and Rav said that Rabbi Yehuda still sticks to his guns. Rav holds that Rabbi Yehuda says, Rav the Amoira, interpreting Rabbi Yehuda the Tana, saying, no, that never happened. There was no quorum, no shor, no vote. There were no elections. No, not true. Yeah, what was there? Rabbi Yehuda sticks to his guns, and Rabbi Yehuda believes that a Kohen is the owner of his Kodshim, is the owner of his Kodshim food, and there is a brisa that supports that too. What does the brisa say? We will see Rashi, a very, very interesting Rashi. I'll give an introduction, not even an introduction. I'll just tell you, we're now talking about Lechem Haponim. What's Lechem Haponim? Who eats Lechem Haponim? All of it, all 12 loaves were eaten by Kohanim. When? No, papa. Oh. On Saturday morning. No. You're mixing two things. You're mixing shter lechem with lechem aponim. Lechem aponim was eaten Shabbos morning. Shabbos morning, the Kohanim would eat, after they bring the thing and the musaf, the tomid and the musaf, they would eat lechem aponim. The 2 bzichim of the voina would be sacrificed on the mizbeach outside, and then the 12 loaves of bread would be eaten by the Kohanim on Shabbos morning. Only then, and only by male Kohanim. Okay, maybe they can give it to the women, but they are the ones who have the right to share. Now, 12 loaves, is that enough for a lot of people? You can have, 100 Kohanim there, and only 12 loaves of a very medium size. Yeah, not like the Bell's dish, it's a small one, small 12. So, did they really have sufficient? Did they really have enough to eat? Yeah, that's a question. So, let's see what the Brisa has to say. Actually, we'll see the Brisa and then see the Rashi. Okay, Rab Milo Tanya, Vatanya, look at the following Brisa. Atznuim moishchenes yedeim. Says Rashi, in the times of Bais Sheni, as long as Shimon HaTzadik was alive, when Shimon HaTzadik was alive at the beginning of Bais Sheni, there are still a lot of miracles in Beis HaMikdash, such as the Ner Maravi, the one of the candles of the menorah would be lit 24/7, 365 days a year, all the time. Shimon HaTzadik, he died. Kova Ner Maravi, the light was off. And also, when Shimon HaTzadik was alive, although each Kohen would get just a kazais, and that would be enough for them. Kazais is a matchbox. Kazais is not a lot. 28 grams for this party. That's not amazing. But lechem aponim, just one kazais of lechem aponim, because they have to eat lechatchila kazais. And they ate the kazais, some of them would be full, some of them would be over full. They would even leave over for others or for later, not too later, too much later. It was, once he died, once he died, then they started getting smaller amounts, and it wasn't sufficient. And the lechem aponim was, I don't know if it shrunk or spiritually, they would only get like a pole, like a bean size. Each coin would get like a bean size of lechem aponim, and it wouldn't be enough. And they'd be hungry. Shabbos morning, you come from shul, famished. And they were hungry. Bais Sheni, towards the end of Bais Sheni, people were already misbehaving in Beis HaMikdash, as we're going to see. And we have a situation here post the death of Shimon HaTzadik. The lechem upon him is not as amazing mitzad the amount anymore, and they eat a small amount. So now the Braita describes that situation. Atznuim moishchenes yedeim. The good koyanim, the tzanua ones, the tzadikim, the goody ones, they would say, okay, we're not eating it. Why should we eat a pole? Yeah. In other words, as Baruch said, as we discussed yesterday, there's no chiyuv to eat. If you started eating, then make sure there's no noiser. Yeah, but I'm not eating from lechem aponim. I'm not mechuyev. Moshchenes yedeim. They would pull their hands, meaning they would basically abstain from eating lechem aponim. Finished. Why should I start eating such a small thing? I won't be saveh. I'm not eating and finished. V'agergeronim cholkim. The glutton ones, the galgeronim, the ones that are always hungry, they would be choylek. What does it mean, choylkim? The Gemara in Havamina thinks that choylkim means as follows. Why should I have such a tiny, small amount of lechem aponim? And then later, I will also, let's say on Sunday, when there's a korban, I'll get another tiny piece of something else. You know what I'll do? A gargeran, the one who likes to eat, he says, you know what? Let me buy off you. You're at Tsanua, you don't get your piece. Let's make business. I'll buy your bean size and your bean size. Oh, so I have 3 bean size. That's already it's a bigger piece. And in return, I'll give you my piece tomorrow, also keneged that. Yeah. Tomorrow there's a guy who's, I got a WhatsApp on Friday. There's this guy coming on Sunday with a very fat, big chatas. So good that he sinned. We have all this stuff. Joking. So now what? So now the chatas meat of me, I'll keneged the grogeris I got now, I'll give you. Let's make a deal. Givaldig. Oh, what do you mean givaldig? So you see that there is business done with lechem upon him. So you see that he was theirs to do business with. And that is, yes, like we said, that is like Rav, who said that Rabbi Yehuda believes that it belongs to the Koyanim and it can be Mekadesh. And it can also switch. Answers the Gemara, no. My cholkim choitfim. You know what it means, cholkim? It does mean that it did business honestly. They would snatch. It from others. In other words, the Gregoronim, the glutton ones, were not such nice people. They were not so, maybe they're nice, but they were very hungry and not so, whatever. Tosis is going to say there were 2 levels here. They would snatch, they would take, now, from who? The Tosis says, normally they would snatch the part of the tznuim, so that's good. The tznuim don't eat at all, because the tznuim said, anyhow, we don't have the mitzvah here of eating kazai, so why should I push for a little bit? I'll be more elegant and not push my way and just stay behind. The Gargaronim seized the moment, the opportunity, and they ate the part of who? Of the tznuim, so that's okay. I don't eat my portion, and that's not called switching. I just don't eat my portion. I abstain, I stay away, And the Gargeran, the gluttonous one, he takes and he eats both pieces. That's okay because it's not business. I don't eat. And the other guy ate, he snatched it. He didn't do business. This is worth 5 shekels, so tomorrow you're going to give me meat for 5 shekels. Kediktani Seifa, as the Seifa of the Brisa says, in Yuma, Maaser Be'echad, there was once a story about one man, one Kohen, Shechotav Chelko v'Chelik Chaveroi. He snatched his part and the part of his friend. Vayukorin Oisoi ben Chamtzan. They would call him the son of a Chamtzan. Ad Yoim Oisoi. Until his death, he was called ben Chamtzan. Chamtzan means oxygen, but Chamtzan also no, Chamtzan is oxygen in modern English. It's Chumtzan is acid. Chumtzan. Chamtzan in classical Lashon HaKodesh is like Chamsan, a Gazlan, Hamas guy, a Gazlan, a thief. Chamtzan is like Chamsan. Correct, Toysers, what's the big deal? You're telling me that everyone used to do it, so why are you singling him out? There was one guy, and he got this, dubious title, this alias of what? Ben Chamtzan till the end of his day. Says Toysers, no, usually they were okay. They would snatch, but they would snatch the parts of the people that knew him that anyhow would leave their part behind. So that's okay. He snatched from other eaters. He was worse. He snatched from other Gargeronim. That's already between the Gargeronim themselves. He would steal from another person who did want his part. So that was already overboard. So he got the name. He's the super chamtzan as opposed to the other chamtzanim who take it from the tznuim, which anyhow don't want their piece. He would take it from somebody who did want the piece. It says in the times of Beis Hamikdash, when there was a reason for Churban Abayis, the Kohanim would do a race up the ramp, and one guy stuck a knife in his friend. Stuck. Mm-hmm. There were two cases. One time he broke his leg, and another time a guy took out a knife and like in the Olympics, sometimes they play unfair, right? They make sure the other guy doesn't win. So lehavdil, so he took a knife and stuck it in his friend's. I think he died actually. Yeah, the kitzer. So there was misbehavior in Bayis Sheni towards the end of the Bayis Sheni, and that's why we don't have it. Yeah. So now Omar Rabba Bar Rav Shila, Micro. What is the pasuk that supports the idea that chamtzan is also called a gazlan and not just chamsan with the tzadi? There's a pasuk. The pasuk says, the pasuk is about David HaMelech asking Hashem, Elokai, Hashem, palteni miyad rosha, nikaf me'avel v'choymetz. Save me from the hand of the wicked one, from the palm of the hand of me'avel, of the one who does injustice. V'choymetz, what's choymetz? Save me from a gazlan. You have to dive into Hashem to be saved from gazlanim, lo aleinu. We have to have bitochen. Rabba Omer Mehocho. Rabba says another source. He says, Lamdu Heitev. This is in Yeshayahu at the beginning. You should learn well. Doshu Mishpat Ashru Chamoitz. You should look for Mishpat. In other words, you should do justice. And Ashru Chamoitz. Ashru Chamoitz. I think Chamoitz here means the person that was stolen. Ashru, give power to the Chamotz. Rashi says, Achziku Yad Hanigzal. Support the chamoitz, not the chamtzan, the one being stolen from, the victim of the theft. You should, in Yerushalayim, what you should have done or should do is what? Support the weak ones, the chamoitz. So again, you see that chamoitz is really what? Theft and gzela. Weiter. Maaser Sheni. Now we are back to the Mishnah. And in the Mishnah, I'm going to have it on the whiteboard soon. But one thing we saw clearly in the Mishnah, before we get into any complications, we saw in the Mishnah that according to Rabbi Meir, that's actually the easiest part. Rabbi Meir holds time and again that Maaser Sheni, a person cannot be Mekadesh a woman with Maaser Sheni. No, cannot be Mekadesh with Maaser Sheni, can't be Mekadesh with Kodshim, that we've dealt with already. You can't be Mekadesh with Maaser Sheni, a woman. Why? Well, I assume the Maaser Sheni is not yours, although you're the one eating it. Where do you eat the Maaser Sheni? In Yerushalayim. But it's not really yours. It belongs to Hashem, and you get it from Hashem. But for that, we need the source. Maaser Sheni is something, it's not based on hekdesh. It grew in your backyard. You can't take it to Yerushalayim, and it's not yours. According to Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, as we'll see later, differentiates between Shoigig and Mezid, but that's a different story. We're not there yet. Right now, we're just dealing with Rabbi Meir, who believes that Maaser Sheni is Momoin Gavoiha. Mina Hani Mili. How do you know? Mina Hani Mili. Mina Hani Mili is always the question of what is the source of Rabbi Meir to tell me Maaser Sheni is really not belonging to the person, but belongs to Hashem, to Gavoiha. Amar Ravacha Brederove Mishmei de Gemore. Interesting Loshain. Ravacha Brederove quoting a Gemara. Aren't we all learning Gemara all the time now? So Rashi says, Gemara, kach nikba b'Gemara v'shgura b'fnei b'nei beis hamedrash. In other words, it became already the accepted opinion by the people of the Beis Medrash. Gemara really means something you accepted from your rabbis. Gamrinan, the way we learn it, the way we have accepted it as a fact. So he's quoting what the Olam says, what people in the Beis Medrash say. He quotes that Ravacha Brederove. And what does he say? What's the source? It says, "V'chol ma'asar ha'oretz, mizera ha'oretz mipri ha'etz." This is describing Maaser Sheni, the Maaser of the land, from the zera, from the fruit. What about it? La'Hashem hu kodesh la'Hashem. Says twice. La'Hashem hu. It is for Hashem, and it's kodesh la'Hashem. Okay, it's for Hashem. Kodesh la'Hashem is what is that? Maaser Sheni. Says the drosha. Now we finished the pasuk. What is the drosha? La'Hashem hu v'lo lekadesh bo isha. It's meant only for Hashem, meaning it's meant for you to eat in Yerushalayim. What said your Maaser Sheni, by the way? You know, the Torah told us to take Maaser Sheni. Who's gaining from that? The Kohen doesn't get it. The Levi doesn't get it. You eat it in Yerushalayim. I might as well eat it in this medrash. Not waste time going to Yerushalayim. What's the idea? To get people to go to Yerushalayim and enjoy the Kedusha. Tosa says in Daf Chafalef, in Bove Basel, Daf Chafalef Amud Aleph, it's good, the Korbanos, the Kodshim, the Maaser Sheni, yeah, also the yeshivas. You know, people would normally go to learn in Yerushalayim in the times of the Mishnah. Yeah, Yerushalayim was, is, and will be the center of Ruchnias, so people should always be kind of, attracted to Yerushalayim, and Maaser Sheni is the way to get you there. So Maaser Sheni is La Hashem, not to be Mekadesh a woman. That's not the purpose of it, which means it's not your money to be Mekadesh a woman. That's the drosha because it says La Hashem. Now starts a whole load of questions. If you say that the word La Hashem means you cannot be Mekadesh with, if so, Trumas Maaser. What's Trumas Maaser? Anybody wants to enlighten me? Trumas Maaser is the Truma given to the Levi gives a Kohen Shiur. The Trumas Maaser is the 10th of a 10th, meaning the Levi got Maaser Rishon, a 10th of that goes to the Kohen. Trumas Maaser. Look what it says about Trumas Maaser. It says in Parshas Koirach, Dechtiv, Ken tarimu gam atem Trumas Hashem. Here's Hashem. It says Hashem in the pasuk, and yet, in spite of the word Hashem being mentioned, it says, you'll see later on, it says in the Mishnah, in a few Mishnahs from now, it says, Amekadesh betrumois, doesn't say truma. Amekadesh betrumois, umaisrois, mekudeshes. It says in the Mishnah later that all types of truma, a man can be Mekadesh with. You're a Kohen, she's a Kohenes, what a perfect match. He can be Mekadesh her with truma. Why can he be Mekadesh with truma? I thought when it says the word La Hashem, then you can't, then it belongs only to Hashem, not to be Mekadesh a woman. How come Truma, when it says Trumas Hashem, how come all of a sudden you can be Mekadesh a woman? Excuse me. Answers the Gemara, the Lochtiv be La Hashem. There's a big, big difference. This is not Stam, a way out here. La Hashem is different to Hashem. Why? When I say something goes to Hashem, for Hashem, to Hashem, such as in Maaser Sheni, it means it goes to Hashem and not to the woman. The one, so to speak, receiving it is Hashem when I go to meet him in Yerushalayim, if you're to Hashem, towards Hashem, not the woman. But she'enken by the Truma, by Trumas Maaser, it says Truma of Hashem, says Rashi, it's the Truma that Hashem commanded you. The Truma of Hashem. Truma, who told you to give the Levi the Truma? Hashem. But it doesn't say it should go to Hashem as opposed to towards other people. It's not like an arrow towards Hashem. The Truma, of course, Hashem told you to do it. And therefore, since it doesn't say La Hashem, therefore you can be Mekadesh a woman. If it says La Hashem, which is the case, but Maaser Sheni, only Hashem and not the woman. Now, frag the Gemara about Chala. What about Chala? The Chala d'chtiv ba. It says regarding Chala, d'chtiv ba titnu La Hashem. You see, La Hashem. So the Chor Chala should be what? La Hashem, only La Hashem, and you cannot be Mekadesh a woman with Chala. I'm sure she'd love to, because women are infatuated with Chala, this mitzvah, Baruch Hashem, but Lamaisa, you can't be Mekadesh a woman with Chala. So I would say, no, look, it says V'tanan, a Mekadesh betrumois Mekudeshes. It says the same Mishnah we quoted a minute ago is quoted again. The one who's Mekadesh betrumois, the woman is Mekudeshes. What does that have to do with Chala? Chala is also called Truma. Chala is called Truma. It says Mireshis, the Pasuk says there in Koirach, no, I think it's in Korach. Mereshis arisosechem titnu laHashem truma. Chala is called truma. I don't know how good your memory is, but I'm sure it's good. We had Chala was called truma in Daf Mevav Amud Beis, not that long ago. Daf Mevav Amud Beis, we had the whole story. Remember of the guy who gave the Kohen Chala in the shape of flour before it was needed, and then the Gemara called truma Chala. Right? Chala was called truma. So 1 second. So let's realize there's a question here. It says La Hashem regarding Chala, and yet we see that a man may be Mekadesh a woman with Chala. Yes, she can get the Chala as Kiddushin. How come? It says La Hashem. I thought when it says La Hashem, that it doesn't go to the women. Answers the Gemara, the Lochti be Kodesh. Oh, it doesn't say Kodesh. It says La Hashem. Doesn't say Kodesh. What does Kodesh mean, my friends? Kodesh means dedicated to. Oh, by Maaser Sheni, it says Kodesh. Kodesh La Hashem, dedicated to Hashem. Very good. But in Chala, it doesn't say Kodesh. It says La Hashem, but not dedicated to Hashem, not only La Hashem. Therefore, a woman may have it too. The guy owns it, the Kohen, let's say, owns it and gives it to the woman of Kiddush for Kiddushin. Frag the Gemara, Varei Shvi'is. Shvi'is, remember? Oh, your question, Tzvi. What did we learn about Shvi'is? T'chtiv b'yovel hi kodesh tihye lochem. Oh, it says that the Shana Shvi'is should be kodesh. It should be kodesh. And at the moment, says the Ritzvah, the Gemara thinks that La Hashem doesn't make a difference. We only follow the word kodesh. And it says kodesh by Shvi'is. I would say kodesh means only for Hashem and not for Kiddushin. And yet, Vitnan, we learned not that long ago, Amekadesh B'Peil Shvi'is Mekudeshes. We learned by Shvi'is, if a person, maybe it's B'di'evid, because Tamazoi, you can't use Shvi'is for whatever you feel like. But if the person was Mekadesh a woman with Peres Shvi'is, she's Mekudeshes, even though it says Kodesh. So you see, Kodesh doesn't make a difference. And says the Gemara, the obvious answer, we're almost there. The Lochtibei Lashem. Oh, very good. Now we're 90% there. The only pasuk so far, out of all the different psukim we saw, Chala, Trumas, Maaser, Shvi'is, the only pasuk where it says the whole line together, Kodesh LaHashem. Where is that? Only by Maaser Sheni. Funnily enough, only by Maaser Sheni. It seems to be something relatively mundane. No, Maaser Sheni, you should eat it how? Kodesh LaHashem. Kodesh, dedicated, designated, La Hashem. Three things. It's designated for Hashem only. It can't be that. No other psukim were like that. Only Kodesh LaHashem. The only one is Betomas is Gapir by Maaser Sheni, and therefore Maaser Sheni is not your money. Says Rabbi Meir. It's only Hashem's. You eat it, and you cannot be Mekadesh a woman or do anything else with it. Now comes the final blow. Up until now, if you noticed, we haven't spoken about Truma, the most basic one. We spoke about Tumas Maaser, from the Levi to the Kohen. We spoke about what? Maaser Sheni, obviously. Chala. What about Truma? Which Truma? Truma Gdoila. How much is Truma Gdoila? And when do you give it? The first one you give. Once you have a Kri, you have a pile, nicely done. You give 140, 150, or 160 of the pile, and that's the first thing you give. And that even a Meratzim would do that. We learned it in the evening. Everybody does. Everyone takes Truma Gdoila, because if you don't, you have Misa. Not fun. Yeah, and therefore Truma Gdoila, you give the Kohen. That's the first thing you give. And what does it say about Truma Gdoila? Dichtiv, it says, and this is actually in the Apostle in Yirmiyahu that compares Klal Yisrael to Truma. We are like Hashem's Truma, and it says Dichtiv Kodesh Yisrael Hashem. Yeah, Yisrael are Kodesh to Hashem, are meyuchad, are designated special for Hashem. Reishis Tvuosoi. Yeah. And we are like Hashem's Reishis Tvuosoi. We are the first part of his crops, of his good things, yeah, of whatever grows in Hashem's field, so to speak. Yeah, when you compare a Yid to a Goy, we are the Reishis, we are the ones at the head, we are the Kodesh ones that Hashem likes. But Lamaise, it's very nice, it's a metaphor, but what does it say? Kodesh, Yisrael, La Hashem. You see, you have all three components. Kodesh, La Hashem. And yet, Vitnan, for the third time, I'm Mekadesh Betrumois, not Truma. I'm Mekadesh Betrumois, Mekudeshes. No? So you see again, a guy, let's say a Kohen, gives a Kohenes Truma that he received. So what happens then? She is Mekudeshes. What's Mekudeshes? It says Kodesh La Hashem. You have all three components that show that it's not Kiddushin material, that it's only La Hashem. Answers the Gemara. The first obvious answer is no. I will be Yisrael Ksiv, Ma Pitom. We don't talk here about real Truma. It's just a pasuk in the Navi. And what does it say? Be Yisrael. Klal Yisrael are, in an allegorical way, right? Are compared to the Truma, and therefore what? They're like Truma, and they are Kodesh LaHashem. But it doesn't mean the Truma itself, the actual wheat and barley and grapes, it does mean that they go Kodesh LaHashem, and you cannot be Mekadesh a woman. So you can be Mekadesh a woman with that. It's just a way of speech of the Novi. Very interesting question. The lav, in other words, v'lav mimele shmas mino. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? But don't you hear it, mimele? Can't you learn? Mimele, meaning automatically, don't you learn inadvertently, so to speak, that Klal Yisrael are like that, and therefore also Truma has the quality of being Kodesh La Hashem? let me give you the example. Let's say you say about somebody's as sly as a fox, right? So now I don't know foxes that well. I know some sly people, yeah. But yeah, if you say, it's not lashon hara because it's litoelis. That's always how it starts, right? But Shimon Yankel Pochachovsky, he's as sly as a fox. What does it mean? That foxes are sly. So we believe, right? If you say, yeah, you compare him even in a very allegorical way, Lamaisa, what are you saying? Is sly as a fox, you think foxes are sly. Yes, yes. And therefore what? And therefore that's what you're saying here. If the Novi, now Novi Yirmiyahu was Novi Yirmiyahu. He wasn't writing the newspaper, right? So the Yirmiyahu Novi cared for every word and he measured every word. And he said, Klal Yisrael are like Truma, meaning just like Truma is Kodesh la Hashem, so to Klal Yisrael, Kodesh la Hashem, in a very nice Musardika way. At the end of the day, you know the Truma is Kodesh la Hashem. Yeah, foxes are sly, right? Moshel and Nimshal are both right. And therefore, the Choira, back to square one. It sounds from Yirmiyahu, who obviously knew halacha better than everybody else, yeah, that Truma is Kodesh la Hashem, and yet the question remains. If you're telling me Maaser Sheni, Kodesh la Hashem means exclusive, and you cannot be Mekadesh a woman, how come by Truma, where at the end of the day it does say Kodesh la Hashem about Truma, how can you say that a man can maybe Mekadesh a woman with Truma? It says Kodesh la Hashem, and says the Gemara, there's a fourth word. Why? Tirgama Rabin Saba Kamed Rav. Rabin Saba translated, which really means explained in front of Rav. Omakro hu bavayoso yeh. I invite you to go back to read the pasuk, the original pasuk, about the one after the two dots. You can flip the page if you want. It says v'chol ma'aser oretz mizeratz mipretz laHashem hu kodesh laHashem. Whenever we say the word hu appears regarding Maaser Sheni, does not appear regarding Truma. There are four words. Kodesh hu la Hashem. Hu always means it should be the way it is exclusive. This is it. When you want to say in English, this is it. It is this and nothing else, right? That's it, nothing else. Now that's the real deal. When the Torah says Kodesh hu, it's an extra word. It says Kodesh la Hashem. Kodesh hu la Hashem means we're being exclusive. It's dedicated to Hashem and only to Hashem by the additional word hu. B'shenken b'truma nishtazoi. B'truma it doesn't say Kodesh hu la Hashem. B'truma it says Reshis Yisrael, the Klal Yisrael are really Kodesh Yisrael Hashem. Kodesh Hashem without the word hu. Very good. So the Maaser came to a conclusion. What's the conclusion? Conclusion is according to Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda, by the way, so far we're not mentioning Rabbi Yehuda here, but Rabbi Meir believes that the words Kodesh hu la Hashem, very very strong long sentence, comes to tell me what Maaser Sheni is only for Kodesh Baruch Hu. Eat it in Yerushalayim like a good boy. What's the other thing you can do with it? If you don't eat it in Yerushalayim, we all know. Exchange it for cash, for money in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and then what? Take the bus to Yerushalayim or a train. Soon there will be a train, yeah? A train, yeah, to Yerushalayim, and take it there to the holy city and eat and spend the money there and eat it. But you cannot be Mekadesh a woman with that, and presumably other things as well. It's not yours. Now we're going to make a chart and see the different options of Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Before we continue, let's read the Mishnah again, because it's important to get the facts right before we get the reasons. Says the Mishnah, Mekadesh bechel koi. Tam, good chazoro, yeah? Mekadesh bechel koi ben kodshim kodoshim ben kodshim kalim eina mikudeshes. That's agreed upon everybody. Kodshim, actually not, right? As Ellen correctly said, the Mishnah follows Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yosi, which is good. Stam Mishnah Rabbi Meir. Mishnah is Rabbi Meir's opinion, unless known otherwise. What does Rabbi Meir believe? That the parts that the Kohanim get are not theirs. They are just getting it from Shulchan Gavoya. A Kohen cannot be Mekadesh, right, with his piece of meat or piece of donut that he got from Beis Hamikdash. The Maaser Sheni. Opinion number one, Ben Shoigeg Ben Mezid Lo Kiddush Niver Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says, by Maaser Sheni, according to Rabbi Meir, either Shoigeg or Mezid, doesn't make a difference whether you are aware or unaware of the fact you're Mekadesh with Maaser Sheni, and she was aware, she wasn't aware, doesn't make a difference. Maaser Sheni, as we just worked very hard to prove, Maaser Sheni doesn't belong to you. Which Kiddushin? It belongs to Hashem. Go eat it in Yerushalayim and dance around there. Nothing to do with Kiddushin. But She'enken Rabbi Yehuda Omer, B'shoigeg lo kiddush, b'mezid kiddush. Interesting. So Rabbi Yehuda says, B'shoigeg lo kiddush, b'mezid kiddush. Says Rabbi Yehuda about Maaser Sheni, Shoigeg, there's a difference between Shoigeg and Mezid, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So let's read again. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, B'shoigeg lo kiddush, b'mezid kiddush. If it's b'shoigeg, it doesn't work. If somebody, soon you will see who, didn't know, then Kiddushin doesn't work. If you didn't b'mezid, it's fine. In other words, generally speaking, we can understand Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda believes that with all, Rabbi Yehuda doesn't darshan the pasuk like Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says no, that Maaser Sheni belongs to the person, and if the person knows what he's doing and is willingly mekadesh a woman with Maaser Sheni, and both sides are aware of it, by the way, Mezid is not an avera, it's not a sin. Mezid means knowingly. You knowingly were mekadesh a woman with Maaser Sheni. It's yours to be mekadesh. It's hers to be mekadesh. You can even do it in Ramat Beit Shemesh. You can do it even in Afula or Beersheba. And they go to Yerushalayim. She'll go to Yerushalayim. She'll eat it in Yerushalayim. She has what to do with it. Obviously, the question is about Shoigeg. That the Gemara is going to discover and explore why is it that according to Rabbi Yehuda, Shoigeg Maaser Sheni, she's not Mekudeshes. That's going to be one of the things we're going to explore. Okay? That's point number one. Maaser Sheni, the Shoigeg, you can only be Mekadesh with Maaser Sheni if there's awareness of it being Maaser Sheni. But if you didn't know, or she didn't know, we're going to see, then really there's no Kiddushin, even according to Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? Shoigeg doesn't work. Why is a good question. That will be the discussion today. Now comes the second part. Hekdesh. What does it mean by hekdesh? Let's say the guy has hekdesh in his house. He's either a treasurer or he's the person that was makdish something to Beis Hamikdash. He has a gold watch and a diamond ring. Ooh, and he was makdish them to Beis Hamikdash. Now he wants to be mekadesh a woman with that. You think that's a nice thing? Ooh, no. If it's b'shoigeg, it's meila. If it's b'mezid, it's meila b'mezid. Generally speaking, although we'll see a discussion, when I take something of hekdesh and I give it to someone, I sell it or I give it, then what? Then it goes out of the realm of hekdesh, becomes chulin, becomes desecrated, and I was over an avera of meila. Yeah, I'm abusing, I'm stealing, I'm taking from the Beis Hamikdash and taking to a different domain. In this case, the beloved Kala, you gave her something, you switched it from hekdesh to non-hekdesh, and that is potentially a meila. So now we're going to see something very interesting. Now that's going to get real wild. I'm continuing the Mishnah still in Beis Amud Beis. Ubehekdesh b'mezid kiddush b'shogeg loy kiddush divrei Rabbi Meir. Wow. So if it's mezid, let's see now again shogeg and mezid. So what do we say? Behekdesh b'mezid kiddush b'shogeg lo kiddush divrei Rabbi Meir. B'mezid it works. B'mezid it's good. B'shogeg no. If you're makdish and you're not aware, not makdish, you took away from hekdesh in order to marry your wife, you took it out of the domain of hekdesh by giving it to her, and you knew it. If you're aware of it, then it works. If you're unaware of it, it doesn't work. And look at that. And the same thing showing amazing. But Rabbi Yehuda, it's just the opposite. Rabbi Yehuda b'shegeg kiddush b'mezid lo kiddush. Wow. Rabbi Yehuda says just the opposite. B'hekdesh mezid, it doesn't work. Only b'shegeg it works. Shia. Now we're going to understand, hopefully, everything. Let's see. Weiter. Yes. We didn't explain anything yet. On which point are you talking? Which point? And hekdesh or on which one? Hekdesh. Now let's focus on hekdesh. Although we're going to talk about Maaser Sheni too. So hekdesh, Rabbi Meir says that b'mezid it works, b'shogeg it doesn't. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'shogeg kiddush, b'mezid lo kiddush. Rabbi Yehuda says the opposite, and b'shogeg it works, b'mezid it doesn't work. Amar Rabbi Yaakov says Rabbi Yaakov the following. We're all confused over here, and Rabbi Yaakov is trying to, put things in order. Baruch Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yaakov. Shamis minod Rabbi Yochanan Tarti. I heard two statements regarding our Mishnah. I heard two statements from Rabbi Yochanan, but I don't know which statement applies to which part of the Mishnah. What did he hear? Shigigas Maaser de Rabbi Yehuda. Shigigas Maaser de Rabbi Yehuda doesn't work. Okay, good. And Shigigas hekdesh de Rabbi Meir. The shgog of hekdesh of Rabbi Meir. Right now we're ignoring Rabbi Yehuda hekdesh. Please leave that on the side for now, till tomorrow actually. Rabbi Yehuda, so we say Rabbi Meir holds hekdesh b'shogeg doesn't work. We don't know why. We're going to get an explanation now. And Rabbi Yehuda shogeg doesn't work by Maaser Sheni. We're going to get an explanation for that too. And what was the explanation? Now, Shnehem ein isha miskadeshes bahem. As we said, in both cases, Maaser Sheni b'shogeg and hekdesh b'shogeg, right? Each one a different opinion. The Kiddushin doesn't work. Okay, we know that. We don't know why. And he's not explaining why, but he's just explaining what does it mean b'shogeg. Remember the whole time when I told you b'shogeg was always careful. Who doesn't know that it's hekdesh? Who doesn't know that it's Maaser Sheni? Comes Rabbi Yaakov and says, Chada, in one of the two cases, either Maaser Sheni or hekdesh, levishen isha roitza. A woman doesn't want to be miskadish with either Maaser Sheni or hekdesh, and had she known that you tricked me, what? This was Maaser Sheni? This was hekdesh? No, I didn't know that. Had I known, I wouldn't have wanted. We have such an assumption regarding her, and therefore the Kiddushin doesn't work. The Chada, the other one, which is again either Maaser Sheni or hekdesh, letisha and shneim roitzim. The other case is what? The reason why it doesn't work is because both sides, both Chosan and Kala, both men and women, are not interested. He doesn't know himself that he's mekadesh with hekdesh / Maaser Sheni. Had he known, he wouldn't have known either. He wouldn't have wanted either. But you know what the shtoch is? You know the problem is? Says Rabbi Yaakov, he says, Lo yadana hay minayu. I don't know which one's which. I don't know, when we have two cases. Shogeg Maaser Sheni not miskadesh, Rabbi Yehuda, and hekdesh b'shogeg not miskadesh Rabbi Meir. And one of them applies to the woman. We assume the woman doesn't want, and if I know that she wanted, it's good enough. The other one, both sides don't want. And Rashi says, obviously, an afkamina would be if, let's say Rashi, let's say we checked and we know that she wants, right? And we don't know if he wants. In one case, as long as she wants, it's fine. The other case, there's also an issue with him. We have to make sure that both him and her really wouldn't have minded. But now comes Rabbi Yirmiyah. So basically now we have to play, a matching game, right? We have two cases. It's not, forget even about the opinions for now, so it doesn't make you so confused. There's just two cases. There's Mekadesh Maaser Sheni in an unaware way, being unaware it's Maaser Sheni, right? And we have a case of hekdesh and unawareness of hekdesh. And that's two cases. And we have two reasons. In one case, the woman is the one who'd be upset and the husband could be tricking her and he knows and she doesn't know. And it's only because she doesn't want, that's the issue. And if I know that she wants, it would be fine. The other case, we say both sides don't want, we assume. And therefore, if I want to make the Kiddushin work, I have to really make sure that both him and her wouldn't have minded if they know. So now the question is, let's play the matching game, because Rabbi Yaakov says, I don't know. In which one do we say psychology? It's a lot of psychology, what we're going to see now. In which case do we say that the woman has an issue with it and not the man? The man doesn't care. And in which case do we say that both sides, had they known, they would have cared and they wouldn't have wanted it? Let's see. So Rabbi Yaakov says, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to connect one to the other more than the other. Comes Rabbi Yirmiyah. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Nechzi Anan. Let us try and figure what's Nechzi Anan. Let us see for ourselves. In other words, you heard a statement from Rabbi Yochanan You don't know which one's which. Let's try and explain it ourselves. We're going to use Rashi now, but let's first see it without Rashi. Let's start with Maaser. Maaser, ihi loy nichala. Maaser, the one who feels like the underdog, the one who's not interested in being miskadish with Maaser, is a woman. Because when you're miskadish a woman, and you are in, not Ramat B'Shemesh, you are in Metula, is Mefuna, lo aleinu, yeah? You're Metula, and what? Mekadesh one Metula, Aret Mukadesh Li. Ah, so nice, what an amazing guy, Pshiat, Talmid Chacham, the dream of my life. And then she realizes what? It's Maaser Sheni. What? Are you serious? You telling me that this piece of fruit you gave me, this delicious a bunch of cherries, but that's kosher, I have to travel all the way to I don't have a car. You mean I have to take 3 buses to Yerushalayim and then eat it in Yerushalayim? So sorry. Had I known that, I wouldn't be Mekadesh to you, Maaser. No way. Says the Gemara, Loi Nichala, she's not interested in receiving fruit outside Yerushalayim, Mishum Tircha de Urcha, a Tircha of the way. Yeah, the exertion, the hard work of the way. Yeah, it's a hassle to go all the way to Yerushalayim. So we assume that she's the one who's not interested in being miskadish with Maaser Sheni. It's a lot of work to start traveling to Yerushalayim, especially if you only have as a donkey. Ihu, but he the guy, Nichale de Nikni to Samimela, he doesn't care. He doesn't care that, says Rashi, Bechina Belo Toirach. In a way, this guy is a cheap guy. Why? He has Maaser Sheni anyway to give. He saved himself the trip. I have Maaser Sheni that I anyhow have to give from my I don't know, my cherries in Metula. I don't have koach to go to Yerushalayim. I'm a Kaddish to woman. I have now my beloved woman as my wife. Very nice. And she'll go, let her break her head over it. But for him, it's very good. For her, it's not good. So I assume Rabbi Yomi is beginning to Kivyochel play the matching game here, saying, yes, Maaser Sheni is to her detriment. And for him, Lama lo. It's Mimela with no tircha, right? Anyhow, he has it. He has to give it anyway. Yeah. Ela hekdesh. But by hekdesh, I assume that's the case where both sides are not interested. Why? Hekdesh, tarvayu loy nichalu, the nit hekdesh al yadayu. By hekdesh, unless I know that they want to, had they not, they're two nice from people. Nice kippah, nice sheitel, nice this, all good, all from people. Had they known that it's hekdesh, mistame, they wouldn't have wanted an Issa. Rashi says they're called moile mal, they're called embezzlers, they're called bali embezzlement, yeah? And they now, when he's makadosh her, what happens? The Kiddushin does work conceptually. In other words, if it was bemazid, it works. Because if we know that they want it to work and he is a Rosha, let's say he's a Rosha, I'm not even sure about that, as we'll see later. Let's say him and her say, you know, we're frum, but we don't care about all the halachas. You know such people? Which halachas do they keep? The ones that they like. Yeah, it's a frum, but dati keda'ati, there's a new term of it. Dati keda'ati. I'm religious according to my own das, to my own selection. So these people are very nice. If they're mazid, what? No, they're Haredi, they're called. Yeah. So now, welcome to 2024. There's a lot going on you don't know. So now, if they are mazid, and they say, yeah, we don't care. I would have been Mekadesh with hekdesh because I have nothing else. As excuses because my mommy wasn't nice to me, whatever. The hekdesh is giving the woman, that would be Meila. He's taking it out of the realm of the hekdesh into her, and they're both willing partners. But the shoygig, no, they're not Mekudesh. Shoygig, we assume they're Yerushalayim people, normal, good from people, and therefore what? Had both sides known that they're partners in crime, he's taking it out of hekdesh and she's receiving it from outside of hekdesh, yeah? So they're both criminals here. Had they known, we assume they wouldn't have wanted. So in that case, both sides, yeah, if we know that they don't know, they're not interested, so is the assumption, yeah? Let's say they're not here to ask us right now. They went on a honeymoon to the Bahamas. So now we want to know if it's Kiddushin or not Kiddushin. Give them a phone call and say, you're not Mekudoshim. No, it doesn't work because he's told me you wouldn't have wanted such a thing. That is what Rabbi Yirmiyah said. The Rabbi Yaakov Omar. Now, Rabbi Yaakov, you have to be very careful here. Rabbi Yaakov is not coming. Remember, Rabbi Yaakov was the one who said what? He's the one who said, I don't know how to match the cases. Rabbi Yaakov said before, and he's not going to say even more. Rabbi Yirmiyah, thank you very much. What you're saying is very nice, nice ideas, very nice svaras, but they're not mukhrach. In other words, I'm still in doubt whether Maaser Sheni is the one that she doesn't want or both don't want, or hekdesh is the one she doesn't want, or both don't want. Birmia said such nice svaras, Maaser Sheni, it's her suffering to go through 3 buses to Yerushalayim, and what? And he doesn't care. And the hekdesh, none of them wants, right? Says Rabbi Yaakov, that's very nice, but I have an opposite svara. He's not negating completely what Rabbi Yirmiyah says. Rabbi Yaakov just wants to say, I remain in doubt. I still remain in doubt because everything he said is very nice, but I can also show you potentially an opposite svara. And when you have 2 opposite svaras, you remain in doubt. Now Rabbi Yaakov is going to tell us the opposite svaras of both Maaser and hekdesh. Rabbi Yaakov amar ipcha mistabra. I can just connect the dots in a completely opposite way. Milo yikalamema. First of all, why couldn't you say regarding Maaser, you said Maaser, he's laughing, ha ha ha. She's going to Yerushalayim with a thing, Freier, and I'm okay. And she's the one who's not interested because had she known she has to sweat through the buses, right? It's only her problem, not his. Says Rabbi Yaakov, not true. They're both not interested. Why? What's ihi? She, as you said, my dear colleague Rabbi Yirmiyah, you're right. A woman clearly, had she known that she has to schlep through the buses, she wouldn't have wanted. That's true. It's a tircha d'urcha, the hassle of the way. Ihu, him, loy nichale either. He would not be happy either had he known it's Maaser Sheni. It's not a case that it tricked her. I'm not trying to connect the dots differently. Maaser Sheni could also be a case in which both sides are unaware and both sides would not be interested had they known. Why? Why does he care? Because mishum unsa d'urcha. It's Oimsa Dorcha means as follows. You tell me, good people, what would be if in the middle of the road, the middle of the way, in the Tachana Merkazit of somewhere, I don't know, in the middle, or in the gas station somewhere, let's say she lost the fruit, Would he have to give her new fruit? Yes. Ooh, why? Usually, let me explain why. When you give the woman the ring, we all did at some stage of our life, very happy moment. You give the wife the ring. Let's say the woman washes dishes 2 days later, and she does take off her marriage ring. Don't get me into that question. She did, and she lost it. Is the Kiddushin still valid? 1,000,000% yes. Nobody thinks otherwise. Why? She received the Shava Pruta. Oh, this Shama, photographer, music, catering, all the necessary things for Kiddushin. It was done. She accepted Shava Pruta. When she accepts those blueberries or whatever in Metula, far up north, did she receive anything Shava Pruta? No, they're not Shava Pruta outside Yerushalayim. Because outside Yerushalayim, you're not allowed to eat them. Blueberries can be very expensive, but they're worth 0 outside Yerushalayim halachically. Don't tell me now what other people say. Halacha says you eat it in Yerushalayim. Outside Yerushalayim, you cannot do anything with it. You can buy something else with it? No. That something else will receive the Kiddush of Maaser Sheni and will also be stuck outside Yerushalayim. So basically, the Kiddushin will only beep, 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 beep. The Kiddushin will only take action, will only start applying when she enters with the bus, with the 3rd bus, into the holy cities, into the walls of Yerushalayim. Up until then, he wants her. He wants her to be his wife. He's not playing games. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the best husband in the world, sounds like, but he wants her to be his wife. So he is also unaware of the fact that this is Maaser Sheni. Had he known it's Maaser Sheni, and she will only receive it, so to speak, becomes valid and valuable in Yerushalayim, what happens if she loses it in the middle of the way? You'll have to give her another one. It's risky. Maybe she'll lose it on bus number 3 because she'll fall asleep because an Arab will take it from her or something. We don't know. And therefore, it's his oinus. It's his achrayus. He'll have to compensate her, give her a new one. Says Rashi, a second reason, let's say that she would say, okay, Shoin, Beseder, I'm Moichel, I received and it's not your achrayus. However that works, I'm not sure. Still, he would feel bad because she will tell him, you didn't give me anything of a no. Right? In other words, says Rashi, even if the achrayus is not his, he's not happy that she would lose it. You're mekadesh me with something that I never enjoyed. What kind of kiddushin is that, right? And therefore, it's not such a selfish outlook on the sides of the chosan. Both kala, chosan, men and women, they both are not interested in Maaser Sheni. Again, if it's mazid, okay, they're aware of it. Both sides are aware. She says, I love you so much. The blueberries are so amazing. Oh, Yerushalayim, I love going to Yerushalayim. Let's go together. The Seder, they both want it. Bevakasha, two adults. That's a Western rule. No, two adults do what you want. Yeah. So if she got the blueberries knowing it's Maaser Sheni, great. But if there was no knowledge on both sides, him and her not interested, she didn't want the whole tircha. Had she known, she wouldn't have wanted, and he doesn't want her to lose it, and then he'll have to compensate her. That's a waste of money. He has to give double kiddushin, and therefore no side is interested. What about hekdesh? Ella hekdesh. Oh, now hekdesh. The question is hekdesh. What are you trying to say now? Hekdesh the other way around. Hekdesh only she doesn't want, but he wouldn't mind. He wouldn't mind. Yeah. Now try to play the opposite game. When do we say that you tick both boxes by Maaser Sheni, as we just explained quite elaborately? What about hekdesh? Now we're connecting the dots. The case of hekdesh by mistake is only an issue by her. She doesn't want to be miskadesh by hekdesh, but a man, even had he known that he was hekdesh, he wouldn't have minded. Why is that? Ela hekdesh, says the Gemara, bishlema ihi lo nichala denatchil hekdesh al yodo. A woman, why? Yeah, a woman whose responsibility is it? Let's start this way: to take care of the money of the kiddushin. Obviously, the man, right? The man, it's his, right? It's his responsibility to get a ring. Everybody knows the chasana is arranged for a month's time. The color dress, the color arranges, and the music goes half-half, and the band goes or whatever. But who's in charge of kesef kiddushin? The chosan. So now she has no interest, dafka, of getting what money of dvar avera. She's saying, what? And I know that you mekadesh me with something that was a sin. That's why we're starting a relationship. You want me mekadesh me with something that's osir? Mapitom. I wouldn't have wanted to have a dvar avera. Yeah, mapitom. A woman has no inyan. Right? She says, ma noesh lebechiluloi. Im lo tekablenu itztach ze lekacha beheter mishaloi, which means it's your responsibility. I'm not saving money. I'm not saving money by getting hekdesh's money and playing shtick. He's playing shtick. Instead of his own money, he's giving hekdesh money, right? She says, I'm not merviach anything from that. You're responsible for providing me with one pruta, one ring, one date, one watch, one cup, one whatever shove pruta. You got it from hekdesh? I'm not so happy about that. No, don't be a miser and don't be over avera. Give me a normal item. That's probably her point of view. Mashenka, the husband, and here comes the punchline. Ihu ela ihu. The man has something that he's gaining. Why? The man who is mekadesh with hekdesh says, I'm saving money. Why is he saving money? Instead of giving my own money, I'm giving money of hekdesh, right? The hekdesh now becomes hers and poops, goes to chulin, becomes secular, desecrated, so to speak. And now she got the money, and I saved because now I don't have to buy a ring in the store. Says Rashi, it's very short-sighted because he will have to pay hekdesh. You will have to pay hekdesh, right? You will have to pay hekdesh. Obazoi, right now he doesn't have money. Imagine yourself a situation with Shechosan, Corona, war, Holocaust, whatever, doesn't have money right now. He's short for cash. Oh, he has a hekdesh ring in his pocket that is hekdesh. He makes a quick calculation. I'll give it now. Oh, and get rid of the issue of the ring. And now I have to give her. And later on, I'll pay hekdesh. Eat now, pay later. That could be a cheshbon by the chosan. By her, no. She would say, no, I don't. That's your own cheshbonos with your own calculation. You want to save now, pay later. That's within his own world. Mitzida, she's probably not interested in receiving something, which at the end of the day, right now, is being partner in crime. So Mimelu would say the other way around. There, the woman doesn't want, and the man wouldn't mind about hekdesh. So nice at the end of the day, we can have svaros either way. So right now, we don't know. So we have a lot of svaros here. Let's just summarize generally speaking, yeah? Generally speaking, it's not as scary as it looks. That's all I want to get to you, yeah? According to Rabbi Meir, Maaser Sheni, don't even begin to think of it. You're making me laugh, says Rabbi Meir. Why? Maaser Sheni, according to Rabbi Meir, why can't you be Mekadesh? Not your money. La Hashem, Kodshim, La Hashem, Kodshim, La Hashem. Your wife is not God, you know? Very smart woman, she's not La Hashem. The Kodesh La Hashem, not your wife, end of story. Rabbi says, we don't know. If they're both aware of it, they know that she's with Kaddish Maaser Sheni, it's your fruit which you have to eat in Yerushalayim, give it to her. She'll eat it in Yerushalayim. If both sides want, both adult consenting, he's giving her the Maaser Sheni. He takes her to Yerushalayim. Shaygeg, no. Shaygeg, because if he didn't tell her that this is Maaser Sheni, when she was all starry-eyed under the chuppah getting those nice, amazing-looking cherries or blueberries, she did not know she had to go to Yerushalayim. Had she known, she wouldn't have wanted. It's all tircha. I thought I can eat it now. Yeah, and the same thing maybe, according to Rabbi Yaakov, applies to both. Maybe he doesn't know either, right? And maybe had he known, he wouldn't have wanted her to only begin the Kiddushin after 3 bus trips to Yerushalayim with good chances of her losing it on the way. And what about hekdesh? Oh, hekdesh, we don't know everything yet. Hekdesh, we know about Rabbi Meir. Says Rabbi Meir, hekdesh, b'mezid works. Unfortunately, they're choitim, they're sinners, but it works. But the Eved, you gave it to her, she stole it from hekdesh. It's a dvar vera, but lamaisa, there is it works. If they want, shaygeg, they don't want. We assume that people, either just her or both of them, that's a question, are not interested to be an over avera. They were not aware. Had they been aware, they would have backtracked and not be interested in Kiddushin. And that's why really it's not Kiddushin. This, we still have to deal with Rabbi Yehuda, I know, of hekdesh. Mirz Hashem, tomorrow we'll see more. Shkoyach. He was. Thank you to our YouTube and Torah Anytime viewers. Yes.